In today's video, I am painting Love's Eye. I'm starting this painting with marking a grid with a ruler. That's not something I do usually, using a ruler in painting, because I generally don't care about the straightness of my edges. But here, the iris of this eye was meant to be a table with a tablecloth on it. So I wanted the pattern of the tablecloth to be as regular as possible so that it felt more real. So once the grid has been marked, I start by painting a checker pattern on the tablecloth using light yellow. The choice of color here was mostly to contrast well with the reds and the greens that I was planning on using later, and as a light as I felt like making it, because I wanted it to not be I wanted it to be easy to paint over later, because I knew that there was a detail of stuff going on top of the table. The basic idea for this eye is that there's a box of chocolate on top of a table surrounded by flowers. I thought about keeping this specific idea and waiting for Valentine's Day to paint it. But I wanted to paint it right then and there, so I decided to paint it then. And I also thought about waiting for Valentine's Day to publish the video, but that felt just ridiculous. So to just sit around the footage for the sake of sitting around with the footage. So you're getting it now, about a month in advance. But I'm not one to really care for seasonality in my art. I just thought it would be funny for this one, but I couldn't be bothered. Something new I'm trying. Complete reversal of what I said in circus art, which was just the last video, I know, but I bought a sketchbook and a number of pens. And basically, what I did for this specific painting is, during my breaks at work, I sketched out what I wanted this eye to look like, various scenarios of how to arrange the flowers, how to paint the box, what color I wanted, depending on what I would do, and even the order in which I would paint stuff. And that really helped me get motivated to actually paint once I came back home. Now, will that work always? Probably not, but I think I'm going to keep doing it, at least for a bit, just to try it out. I just have to be careful not to lose a sketchbook or to just store it improperly and be forced to buy another one, because I don't want to accumulate them too much. I want to really finish the sketchbook before considering even buying anything else, ideally. I don't want to accumulate too much. This time, because I wanted more contrast, I decided to paint the what would normally be the white of the eye, a color that was far removed from everything else on the painting. Because since most of the colors of the painting were going to be hot colors, like pink, red, and yellow, I wanted some contrast of a cold color, so I went with blue. It's a very versatile color. Um, and I felt it went well with the green of the flower on top of the yellow table. Color-wise, this is one of my favorite paintings so far. I feel like there's a really good contrast and good composition. It's a good painting, I feel like. Not that I normally think my paintings are bad, but this one is up there as one of my favorites so far. And here I do have some explanations to give. So later in the video, you're going to see me paint this exact spot of the eyelid deeper red, and now I'm painting it pink. The initial idea was to scratch, to use a needle or something to scratch the top layer of paint to have a very thin and fine pattern on the eyelid, but I couldn't make it work. I think I was confusing different types of paint and different mediums, and I thought I needed to let the acrylic dry before scratching it, but the needle just got caught and I feared I was going to be breaking the canvas, so I let go of that idea. This is why there's a superfluous coat of paint here. I think I should have painted the red and then scratched immediately without waiting it to dry. Then I could have that could have worked probably for scratching, but I went with something else that had a less fine but similar effect. So I'm not mad at all. That's what I'm painting. I'm experimenting when I'm painting, so it's not that much of bother. Here, what I'm painting is the bottom of the chocolate box. I chose a gold color. That was the lightest gold I had in my selection of paints. I wanted to be I don't know. I wanted it to be light. And here I'm starting to paint the flowers. This is one of the things I debated the most, how to arrange the flowers on this painting. Initially, I wanted to have them like the stems pointing towards the box and the flowers pointing towards the exterior of the frame. But that felt a bit awkward. Like if I imagined this being an actual table and an actual flower arrangement somewhere, I feel like that would be kind of annoying to arrange, and it would separate the chocolate from the flowers too much. Then I thought about, well, what if the stems were like underneath the box and just the flower heads stuck out from underneath the box, which I could see done in real life more than the first idea, but that compositionally for a painting didn't feel right when I sketched it out. So I went with the flowers going around the eye. That way there's like one bouquet that's just being spread out around the table to look cute, and it looks really good, at least from above here with as a painting. Now I don't really know what type of flower this is. I just painted red flowers, but definitely didn't do the correct type of petals for a rose, and the only thing I cared about was the flowers was red and that it was unmistakably a flower. So I don't know what type of flower it could be. Here I am doing the sides of the box. Uh, During the sketching phase, I toyed with the idea of having the box like with an isometric view with some kind of fake 3D, so that we were looking at it kind of from the side. But that felt unbalanced when I sketched out. It felt unbalanced is the word I'd use. Then I thought about having like as if the box was kind of a bit of a cone or unfolded from the kind of unfolded so that we'd see the stripes. I imagined this box to be a round chocolate box with red and pink stripes. So I thought about making it a cone so that we'd see more of the stripes, which would give some of the direction for the iris. But that just looked stupid when I sketched out, so I went with this just a flat top view. That felt like the most natural way to paint it. Well, and the best way to paint it, among the things I thought about at least. And I didn't show in this video my attempts to scratch the paint since it didn't work, and I spent kind of a long time. I didn't show it, and I also didn't show me repairing the because I did successfully scratch part of the paint, but it took too much effort and it didn't look as it wasn't making as big of contrast as I wanted. So I painted over the parts I did scratch at first, but I don't show that in this video because it didn't feel worth it to me for me to show that part of the process. Just telling you it happened is, I think, enough. I'm not here trying to waste your time too much. For painting, normally I try to not do any time lapse, any acceleration on the video, but here the footage is sped up it's at 1.5, so it's a bit faster, just to make sure that I had enough stuff to talk about for most of the video. For the way I did the petals, I imagined a sunflower, but with red petals. No, not really, but yeah, I thought about the petals of the sunflower when I was painting it. Of course, because of the scale, it's much smaller and it's not the right color, but that felt like the easiest, most reliable way I could paint flowers with my current abilities. And I think it turned out well. And I did add a dot of yellow at the center of each flowers, just to give them more of a body. And these flowers do need to be pollinated, so yeah. And yellow, I use the same yellow as I used for the table, but I just didn't lighten it with any white. And here, since I already had my spike out, I did pink dots for the to represent the stripes on the pupil, on the sides of the box. Now here I'm painting the chocolate. I wanted to make them as small as I could and heart-shaped, but I didn't really. I'm not a fan of the shape of these eyes, of these hearts. I mean, it's a minor thing, but they don't look quite as I wanted them to, and their size is very random, which I guess I could say these are, to be more romantic, that these are homemade chocolates and that's why they're irregular or something, or they're biscuits more than chocolates, but I wanted them to be more regular than that, and I did some test painting on the paper elsewhere that I'm not showing in this video, and it felt easier to do on paper than on canvas, but that's a very minor detail. Later in the video, I add pink dots on the chocolates to make them look a bit more interesting. And here is what I was going to be scratching. Well, I was going to be scratching very much smaller hearts and with much finer lines, but I think it does look good with the eyelashes being large pink hearts that go over the frame of the painting. It feels not overbearing and kind of. I like the contrast. I like the look. What can I say? The hearts on that went over the frame on the corners were the hardest to paint regularly. It was doable, but kind of hard. And I tried to keep the thickness of the lines somewhat regular from one heart to the other, but can't do miracles there. I just did what I could. And it does look very good. I said my piece about that. And with these pink dots in the center of the chocolate, the painting is done. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to come by whenever you want. Bye.